Hey guys, this is the episode 5 of the Whatever Podcast, the show where we talk about whatever.
What you been up to today, bro?
It's been a busy day, man. It's just like I was working on my documentary, and then I had to go to class. Then I had a class right after that class. Then a presentation I had to go to. Saw a movie today too, and and then I got
films.
Yeah, films. So gotta be down here. But
I hear you.
What about you? What you been up to?
Had a meeting at UNC Charlotte. UNC Charlotte. UNCC, I always get confused.
Yeah.
But meeting with the director of art and art history, and then a couple of art students there, just thinking about like a community-based project in Charlotte over like the next year or so. So thinking about grant writing for that.
Yeah.
I was dozing off in my physics lab. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But we made it through. Know what I'm saying?
Now we're here.
Now we here. We got a film job.
What's up with this empty chair though?
This chair is empty.
I feel like it should be filled by
a special guest.
Special guest. Special guest.
Do we have a special guest today?
I think we should have a special guest today. Special guest.
Special guest.
Oh, I think that's him now.
Is that a special guest?
He's a special guest. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
How's it going, bro?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Special guest.
What's up? It's nice to be at the Whatever Podcast. You know,
definitely.
We talk about what?
Whatever.
Got it.
Yeah. So.
Yo, hey, this is Trilla G ENT member Richie Tovar.
Yes, sir.
Fun fact: he's actually the first member that we ever recruited for the team. Actually, yeah.
I didn't even know.
First, right? Yeah. It's a surprise for him.
That's
too.
how long it's been.
History.
Because like I remember, you were like the first artist that I worked with outside of Victor Allen and Bradford, and that was on our first music video, Lit, that we did when we were sophomores. And I think actually that was like, I don't know if you, Victor, worked with anybody else, but for me it was my first time working with anybody else like artistic on the campus, and that was like our first big, like thing that we ever did that involved a lot of people. So like that was like the first step, and then from there that's how we met like everybody else, and we started to like integrate other people who would then become Trilla G ENT members. But this guy was the first one to ride with us and just be like, yo, hey man, I got the camera, let's just go do it right now. And we made a dope video with one camera, and he was on his own, and we just made it happen. And that video has like 1,700 views now, which is pretty dope.
Pretty solid.
Pretty solid, yeah. So like, hey man, thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks
Most
for having me.
Most definitely.
I'm happy to be here, and I get to show my knowledge and my thoughts and my opinions to all you guys listening out there. But yeah, like that, as Lawrence was saying, that day we shot Lit. It was a crazy day actually.
Yeah.
I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Actually.
And fun fact, that day I think was the day I actually gained my confidence on campus as a cinematographer.
Interesting.
Wow. Usually I was just, that guy I walked around campus, knew about like film stuff, knew about production, but never got the chance to actually, practice.
Yeah.
Practice my skills, and that was a good day to practice. And after that, after I uploaded the trailer actually for that video, that's when I was walking down like the halls and or like just to Union, and people were like, "Oh man, that trailer was so lit." I really like that. It was like, "Did you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did that." And I didn't expect to get that much like compliments that after uploading the trailer. And it just felt pretty good because people started realizing, "Hey, Rich is pretty good at this," and people started hitting me up. And they still do today, even though sometimes it's for photography. But it was a great day that day. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like the coolest part for me was like knowing that you were a photographer and cinematographer, and that you had done stuff back home in Texas. Like in high school, you said you made a horror film, and you were really adamant and serious about like the composition of like a film work. And I was like, man, you got the skills. Like, how can we incorporate this?
Right,
and so I was like, I knew from the jump. I said, it's gonna be great. So I'm definitely glad it turned out to be something that we were all able to like grow from, mature from, and like kind of start to receive that recognition in our talents and our abilities. And I'm glad it was that for you.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, and I'm pretty sure you guys know.
He said
every time y'all get on stage and start doing your thing.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
No lie, I watched that trailer like hundreds of times. Like, that was like our first like visual that we ever put out. So like I was just it was very surreal. I was like all the videos that we ever made, like I always watched them like a crazy amount of times because like it's very surreal for me to just like see, you know, to see us, but also just to see myself like up there doing that because it doesn't make any sense to me because like it's not so long ago I could never ever picture myself doing anything compared to what we're doing now and stuff like that. So I just it's me kind of watching it again and again to make sure that it's actually like real and like, you know, this is actually happening because sometimes I just can't believe it. And it's also really, really good too. So like, you know, why wouldn't I want to replay it again and again? So
facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. So,
Retweet.
What else are you really interested when it comes into like creative production or just like what it is that you consider yourself doing as like an artist and what you love about art?
One thing I always say is I like showing people my image or my perspective on things, you know. And as a person who, you know, has done like short films, I feel like I have image or like a story to offer to the table that not other people catch. And one of those things is like the timing of video. Usually, you know, you have a lot of good videos with like great cinematography, great sound, great editing, but sometimes they lack that timing. And I feel like that timing of, specifically I'm talking about horror, the building a suspense and when to release that like jump scare or when not to release, you know, that jump scare to the audience. I think that's it takes skill because, you know, you could like build suspense in a short amount of time and then add that jump scare, but like people already anticipated it by that point, you know. And I think that's something I really honed over. A skill I really honed over the years doing some short films in high school. And even though I have not like practiced it as much as I would like to here at Davidson, you know, because, you know, I've kind of shifted from short films to like documentaries. I really want to get back into it and, you know, actually show people how I've grown over the years, because I definitely have grown over the years taking courses here at Davidson. But I think, yeah, showing that perspective and that timing is something I really value when I'm doing my work.
Hey, speaking of horror film, speaking of timing, I knew like I had a feeling this would come in handy. I just saw the new Jordan Peele movie Us just now in theaters, and like talking about timing and building that suspense and like still making it like very scary. That movie was trippy. Like it was crazy. It was a bunch of things. It was mysterious, it was scary, it was funny, it was like all that wrapped into one. And sometimes you forget that it's a horror film, but then when it reminds you like, yo, this is not a game and this is not a joke. And it's so good because after I was over, I'm still thinking about it now, and I know that I have to watch it like 2 more times to like really kind of get like a piece of like what he was going for. But yo, man, that's like definitely like great film to check out for sure. And I get what you're saying.
And you bring up a good point because you just said the horror film had so many different elements, and one of those elements was comedy, right? Yeah. And like timing, like, is very important when you integrate comedy in a horror film. You know, you might shoot your shot, you know, with a joke, and people might miss it because you put it at the wrong time. You know,
right? Yeah.
And so it's kind of important when you know, you add a joke into a horror film, when to put it. And I think that's really important. And I think a lot of people are getting way better at it now. You know, with everybody being so influenced with social media and just YouTube in general, people are getting way better at, you know, just cinematography and like video in general.
One more plug for us. I would just say, like, my favorite type of horror films are the ones that aren't like, you know, like gory, but more disturbing than anything else. It's just like, it makes you just feel like, you know, that could actually happen. And that's what's so cool about Jordan Peele's films. It's like, even though it's kind of like out there, it is still kind of, there's like a basis in like reality. Like, this could actually in some form like happen, or it has happened, but just like in a less exaggerated way. And that's just kind of like, it just makes you think like, wow, like that, you know, like when I saw Get Out, I was like, you know, that could actually happen. There could be like a family in the woods who has money and means, and just like, it's just experimenting with people, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, so, you know, shout out to him, man. That was a great film. Usually he totally beat the sophomore slump, and you know, I can't wait to see what the next film is, and I can't wait to watch Us again for sure. So yeah, great film.
So when it comes to horror, do you feel like there is space to incorporate a whole bunch of other different genres into it, but still make sure it's like essentially a horror film, or do you feel like it has to be one track and not really have too many deviations?
I mean, it depends, and you know, everybody has their own opinion, but the way I see things is, yes, it's possible to incorporate like romance, comedy, you know, thriller, psychological, you know, gore, paranormal in one horror film, but at times it could, you know, be complicated. You can make it complex where you overdo it and you don't even realize it, and so you lose that atmosphere of, you know, suspense or horror. And I think just little bits of like comedy or like, you know, this romance would be good for the film to, you know, give the audience a break. But I think like you should always keep the audience on their toes, especially with a horror film. You keep them thinking, keep them kind of like, what's gonna happen next? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm very confused, and then I get scared all of a sudden, and you know, you're hitting all these like points, like different genres of fear for every single individual in the audience to kind of be instilled with that fear, because you know, there's heights in the film, or shoot, I'm scared, or maybe there's paranormal stuff, things moving by themselves, there's another person that like is gonna be scared of that. So I think keeping them on their toes is really important, and I'm pretty sure that's what the film did.
It did, yeah.
I heard it was really good. I really want to see it.
I was like, okay, wait, where are we going with this? I was just like this the whole time, like, what's gonna happen? I was just like, what's going on? It was just crazy because like there weren't a lot of like jump scares. It was just like, yo, we're in your house, and we're just there, and we're coming, just like slowly but surely, and like the music too just like played a really big role too, and then also thinking about like adding a bunch of different elements to like the film. Just different people will be scared of like at different parts, and then if you're watching in the movie theater, then it's like a collective fear, and it's just like, and everyone's feeling different things, and maybe you weren't gonna jump at that jump scare, but since like half of the audience did, you just kind of, and you're scared of everyone else around you, and it's just like you can't leave.
Funny thing you say that, like it's kind of like different from movies, but like I've been to Netherworld in Atlanta. It's if y'all don't know, Netherworld is like a haunted house. I think it was top 3 at the time when I went, and every time I go to a haunted house, my girlfriend or my friends, whoever it is, they put me in front. So I get exposed to like the first thing that comes out, and usually, you know, I kind of like close my eyes a bit, so I won't see something, you know what I'm saying? You know, I try to be tough because, you know, people behind me put me in front. I'm like, okay, I'm the leader now, so I gotta be tough, you know? I ain't gonna cry, you know? But yeah, like, I remember this one time I was walking down the hall. Don't sue me, Netherworld, for explaining what y'all do inside. But I was walking down the hall, and they had, like, this guy on, like, on harness in the ceiling. And then he swings, and then he swings back. So me, like, I'm kind of used to, like, jump scares from the sides or, like, from underneath. But, you know, I would never expect something to come from
right at
and so I'm pretty sure I would not been scared of it. Because I was just walking and I was looking around, because it's beautiful, like all the technology they use and, you know, the cinematics they use. But I was walking, and my girlfriend was holding my arm like really tight. Like my arm is probably asleep at this point.
You see the fingerprints
at this point, right? And so this thing flies by me, and my girlfriend like grabs my arm, so I get scared. And I look up and I get even more scared. And it was one of the times I actually like kind of like actually step back, because like if I get scared I just kind of like twitch, but no, I actually I kind of step back, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like especially when you with other people and they like kind of influence that on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely works.
Yeah. You said you wanted to get back into short films. Are you trying to like stay in the horror film like genre? Is that like your lane, or do multiple things?
No, definitely. I love the horror film genre. And funny thing, like growing up, my mom used to watch horror films. whether it be like slasher, thriller, paranormal films. I watched them growing up, and she would like just put them on, and she'd be like, "Oh, you want to watch this?" I'm like, "No." But you know, I would say no, but then I would like sit myself down there and watch it, right? And I would watch this film and be like, "Oh, okay, I'm scared. I'm really scared." And that night, I would not sleep.
Oh yeah.
And it would take me a few weeks to, you know, actually kind of get back to my normal sleep routine. And again, she'll bring out another movie. You want to watch it? No. Me knowing that I'll be scared and not be able to sleep. But that kept going. Now, you know, it's ironic that I love horror films and I can watch them without being scared. Maybe I just became immune to them, right? But I really want to continue working on horror films. I think that's a genre I really am good at. Yeah. Just because of all the exposure I got as a little kid. And I definitely want to do that. I'm not as good with comedy because that's like a hit or miss, and I'm not that type of dude to, you know, actually hit those jokes without the audience. But yeah, I definitely would love to do a horror film. And I actually was writing a script that sophomore year when I was just really ignited with like doing filming again. I was writing a script about a student here at Chambers who was studying late at night, and then all the lights turned off, and then it turned back on. And then the student is walking down the halls, and he hears things, and like eventually, I didn't get to finish the story, but eventually the student ends up being outside, and it's actually something like Jordan Peele did, like where it's like himself seeing himself. Oh, okay. And that's something I wanted to do, but I didn't get to finish it, and you know, I didn't get to put the things together, and I just got so busy, so I never got a chance to do it.
Shit, Peele stole the idea from you. Man, right? Oh my gosh. Damn it, Jordan.
But what do you think what do you think horror's importance is to like a society, or like what does it bring to the table in terms of how it allows its viewers to expand what they think is scary, or maybe it's something that appears scary, but it's something that like that's innate that we're all feeling?
That's a really good question.
Those are the deep questions.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't know how to answer that, but what it can bring to society is a different way of viewing things, of what good and evil means. You know, oftentimes evil gets associated with previous things that we associate evil with, so like monsters and stuff, and like, you know, at the same time, the biggest monster could be yourself, right? And so I think horror is just a way of kind of looking at things at a different scope, and understanding the differences between good and evil. But like, that's a great question. For me, it's just to entertain me, put me in a space where I'm safe from those situations, but I still get to experience that fear, that thrill of, you know, being scared or being put into those situations. And that's why I really enjoy horror films a lot. It gets me pumping, you know.
For me, I gotta like, if I'm gonna watch like a horror film, I gotta watch it during like the day, and then like dilute it with like comedy and like other normal stuff.
Watch cartoons afterwards.
It's like, okay, now I can go to sleep. Okay, great. But moving away from horror for a second, you're talking about how when you would go to like the haunted houses, right? Like your friends would kind of automatically put you in the front, you know. So more like that leadership type role. So thinking about leadership, I want to talk about what you just accomplished last week with the founding of a fraternity here on campus, the Lambdas, right? Yeah. So why don't you tell us about that, kind of what inspired you to do that, a little bit about the process, and you know, now that you've accomplished that, like, how do you feel?
Freshman year, I came here with like little knowledge of what Greek life was. I knew my sister had joined a sorority, but I didn't know it was like a Latin sorority, and that turns out that Latin sorority is the sister of the fraternity I brought to campus. Gotcha. But yeah, like freshman year, I got some exposure to Greek life. You know, I saw the MPHCs, I saw the probate shows, but that's all I knew, you know. But then I was approached by two students. At the time, they were sophomores, and they were like, do you want to bring the first fraternity on Latino fraternity on campus? And I was like, yeah, sure. You know, me like being a freshman, being very naive. Yes, I'll do this. I'll do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But eventually, that idea, that mission, became more of a service to the community here at Davidson, because you know, eventually, attending a PWI, you kind of feel isolated. You realize that not only do you not see your culture, but you miss it, and you become prideful of who you are, or where you come from, what do you look like, how you speak, and that's what I became. After my freshman year, I was more inclined to do things that my culture did, because you know, back at home, you know, you're kind of immersed in that community. You don't think about it, you know, subconsciously. You think you're just part of a normal community. And so eventually, that mission of bringing the first Latino fraternity, it was a way to service the community, especially those Latinos on campus, but not exclusively, to give them an opportunity to join an organization where they understand where they come from, and that they are able to transform these individuals who already have leadership qualities, because if you're in college, you must have some type of leadership qualities, but transform them into becoming those leaders that they already are, but they don't realize. And I knew that this fraternity would definitely, you know, actually achieve that. But like, we kind of hit some bumps on the road with the school kind of saying, no, you have like OLAS, which is Organization of Latinx American Students. If y'all don't know, it's a organization that raises awareness here on campus for Latinos and Latinx students and their culture. And they're like, no, you have that, you know, but you know, a student organization can't do so much. You know?
There are limits.
There's limits of like who you could vote for like policies, and like most of the events are like within your school. And you know, I knew the fraternity would allow you to like not only like do events and community service outside of Davidson, but also allow you to network with individuals, like not just across the country, but at international level, because we are all over the world for sure. And so that was one of the main reasons why we were able to get approval from the school. And you know, thank God, everybody was able to see what our vision was, what our goal was. And you know, the process of bringing it, we had to petition to, you know, the president, to Patterson Court Council, which is a council made up of all the Greeks and all the eating houses here at Davidson. And we had to petition to the religious department, you know, just all these academic departments, and write letters and present. And it was so tedious and such a hassle, but you know, we never saw it that way. It was more of like, all right, here's the next step. We're making progress. And it felt good, actually, because for 3 years we were just there stuck. We're like, we would meet every Sunday and be like, all right, guys, what's the next step to get people's attention to, you know, help us approve this? But then once we finished that, we kind of voted on Lambda Theta Phi Latin Fraternity Incorporated to come to the campus and, you know, be established here. And after that, it's history. You know, you start the induction process. You learn about the history of the organization. You learn what they're about, their mission values, unity, respect, brotherhood, culture, and pride. You know, we salute, which is like best described as poetry in motion. And every time you hear salute, you can hear the passion. You can hear why these words, from these poems, mean something to each individual of the organization. And you know, eventually, I'm one of the 8 founding brothers here at Davidson College, and I'm very, very hopeful that this organization is going to do something great for this campus. You know, we're not just here as an added name to the PCC, but we're going to add something. You know, we're going to bring something to the table. You know, and yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes, and I've implemented my name on this school, and
he said footprint
there.
That's cool.
Left his mark.
I'm staying here forever.
Left his hole. We're trying to leave a hole on this campus.
My name's staying here forever, because I ain't staying here forever.
You gotta get out of here. And also, I want to, say this man didn't just found the Lambdas here with his seven brothers. Like, he was the ace of the team, so a leader of leaders. That's what Trilla G really is, you know what I'm saying? It's like leaders of leaders, and we don't like just join things, we like create things, and we leave our mark here, and we're trying to help people, whether it's just like through art or through service or anything like that, you know what I mean? So this is a very like talented, multifaceted group. That's why I have so much pride in Trilla G, because it's just like some of the most amazing people I've ever met on this campus right here, where I learn from every single day. And I consider both of y'all like my mentors in terms of just like, filmmaking and photography and cinematography, like everything that I've like learned and stuff and I've done on this campus is because like I've been watching y'all, trying to learn from y'all. I remember the first movie I ever shot was off of Victor Allen's camera for Tom Grower's class, and it was just like it was rough, but like it was.
You made it. What
this button do? What this button do?
I was like, how do I do this again?
Focus ring right there.
You know what I mean? So it's really great to like see the growth from like where we were as like very naive freshmen, and just like seniors who have all like created something big, and like it's interesting, like people just keep hitting like all of us up for like different things, and I'm just like, what's gonna happen when we leave? Because it's just like we're gonna because we've just done so much, and people have like been counting on us for like different artistic things and just service type things. So that's why we want to kind of leave like this legacy behind us. Like, okay, like we started something, and now there are people who will like carry it on for us while we like take on the world and everything. So I'm very proud of you.
Oh,
really,
we definitely
really happy.
Feed off each other's energy, man.
Absolutely.
Somebody comes up with like a mixtape, somebody else does artwork, and you're like, I want to do something too.
Let's do a video. Let's
so
do some social media on it.
Definitely feed off each other's energy, and I'm pretty sure Trilla G is going to continue on persisting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even if not here, worldwide, because we take not only our connections but our expertise with us wherever we go, and that's just like the beauty in it all. Like wherever we go, we always have like just that connection, that network. We have that mentality and that mindset to say, all right, how can I create the next best thing, not just for me but for other people, and hopefully inspire them to do what works for them. So
the crazy thing is like, I consider us to be like the Justice League of artists, because before we even came together, right?
Wait, what about the Avengers, bro?
I couldn't think of like an interesting. So, cause like before we even came together, right? I was thinking about this. Like before we came together, everyone was doing like their own thing within their circle, and they were already like popping in their own individual circle, right? If we never got together, like everyone would have been fine doing like big things. I'm absolutely sure. But then you bring all of us together, like all of these like great minds and talents and energies like into one place, and you create something that's just like insane. That's why we've been so productive over like the last like couple of years, because we've all been together, and we've been able to help each other grow that way. Because like you said, like sophomore year you were thinking about getting back into cinematography and filmmaking, but you didn't have a place to like practice that. But then we showed up and we're like, hey, we want to shoot a music video, let's go do that. We gave all of that responsibility to you, the filming, the directing, the editing and everything, and then bam, we made like a crazy video. We showcased at the show.
Carrying the team.
Everything. No, hey man, you did, man, for real. So yeah, no, it's so much fun to like to see that, like to see how far we've come, and it's just like thank God, man. This is only really beginning now, because we got like all these skills, and we're only like growing now, and we've all like implemented ourselves into like these great organizations, and then we combine those networks together, and it's just like it's huge. It's a global thing, like already. It's just like in its infancy right now, but it's already happening. You know what I mean? Like we have connections with all these amazing groups, not just here on the campus, but like where I'm from in Brooklyn, New York, and some homies in LA, and now we got the Lambdas and the Alpha organization through Bradford and everything, and also through Tati, through the Deltas and everything. It's crazy in this, and I haven't even like talked about the other people too. Like they're in so many different groups with so many different people, and it's just inspirational. You know what I mean? So it makes me want to just like go extra hard and just like make sure everybody knows like who we are.
Yeah.
Sure, man. Man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think this has been a great session. Thank you so much for being able to come through.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah.
I'm always here for y'all.
Hold on, before we go. Sorry, I don't want to. I just wanted to ask this question. In our last episode, we talked about what it was like for our two Asian members, Kathy and Nate, you know, what it meant being like an Asian artist to them, and what they wanted to do with their art, either for like themselves personally, or just like for, you know, their community, their race, their ethnicity, you know, whatever, right? So for you being a Latino male, Latinx, Latina, whichever one you prefer, what does art like mean for you? What do you want to use your art for? Like, I mean, do you is art just for you personally, which is totally fine because it's like an expression for yourself, something that makes you happy, or do you want to use it to help the community now, especially now within like this crazy political climate we're in right now, that's been attacking, you know, Latinos and Latinx people like exclusively. Like that was kind of like the platform that they ran on, and now it's kind of like, you know, it's open season on everybody who's not, you know, who's not white. That's kind of like the rhetoric that's been put out right now. So I'm just curious, like, what do you know, has that kind of changed your personal mission? Was that how like you started? Was it just like, oh, I'm doing this for me, and now it's like I want to do it for my people, or, you know, I'm just curious, like, what your thoughts are on that?
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's a lot. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
The climate has changed over time, and I've become, as like people say, woke. Not only for like African Americans, but for my own culture as well. And I recognize all the, you know, errors, well, you know, that people do in my culture, such as machismo. But initially I am guilty of participating in that, and the only person I could blame is myself. But yeah, I used to just do art and using cinematography for myself, and just to show people my work. But now, these days, I'm more like conscious of like what I'm putting out there and like what I am putting out there. So like one of my first posts for Instagram was like this beautiful Mexico flag.
Right.
And
put his Instagram.
Yeah. Plugged it.
I'll make it a pair.
And I've put like locations of Mexico on my Instagram, and I think that art not only like shows like some quality picture, but like represents who I am and how I've changed and why I'm so prideful of where I come from. And I'm definitely for the people, all people, but like the Latinos here in the United States, specifically, because there's one thing that I was reading in the book, that like when international students come here to the United States, they only cater to the like international students. And I thought that was really elitist, because most of the time international students who come here like come from wealthy families, and you know, what about all the people here in the United States that are like from Latinx descent, you know? I think they get like marginalized, and so I think it makes me proud when I see like somebody who comes from like Latinx descent thrive and achieve big goals, and that is the type of like motivation I want to instill in the youth here in the United States. And I do that by like showing them some of the things I've done, whether it be my artwork or not. I definitely try to instill this sense of not only like grit, persisting through like challenges, but also of like dreaming, because I think that's important to dream and try to achieve those goals. And you know, every day I go to Ada and I kind of like converse with like students there, and I try to be as supportive of their dreams, because I think it's important. And I know this is kind of cliche, but they are the future. And you know, I'm more woke now, and I try to, you know, do me for the people and everybody, you know. So yeah.
And we're the future too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watch out for us, we're not that far from them. That's crazy too, like thinking about like our generations aren't even like that far apart. We're only like what, like 10 years older than like those kids, and
10 years is a big gap.
I know, yeah, actually it is.
Yeah.
They were just, it's so different. Like I still remember when I had a flip phone, and like in and so most people, a lot of these kids don't even know what that is. It's crazy. So interesting to think. But that's, we could talk. I feel like we could have we could talk for like 3, 4, 5 hours right here, right now. Quick final thought on my end, just same thing I've been preaching since we first started. Keep striving to do what makes you happy. There's gonna be challenges, there's gonna be obstacles, and it might not happen right away, but there's beauty in the struggle, and you build like character that way, you know what I mean? So like everything that to get to this point, we had to start somewhere, and it wasn't like, from we didn't have like a lot of knowledge about some things we were doing. We had to like learn as we went along, and we had to make mistakes, and we had to have like bad films, or had to make corny songs, or whatever whatever it is, but we kept going because it's what made us happy. And now we're better now, we're slow growing, and we're making better moves and everything. So keep doing that, keep going and do what makes you happy, because like at the end of the day, that's the only thing that really matters, is what life is all about. Life is too short to like not just to do what other people want you to do. You gotta figure out what you want to do for yourself, and go for it. So go for it and prosper, be happy. That's me signing off.
And one more thing, you only have bad moments, not bad days. So yeah,
I like that.
Write that down.
Write that down. Bad days.
Yeah.
That's true.
Vic, any final thoughts for the people?
Final thoughts.
Those are my final thoughts. Quick drum solo.
that was Morse code.
Thanks for killing that time. On a real, don't take for granted the people that you got around you that are pushing you to be great and pushing you out of your comfort zone to improve on what you're doing. Because oftentimes those are the people that just want to see you win. And if they're challenging your thoughts and your ideas, not you as a person, I think that's healthy, and that's important to, get you to think about how you can do what you do in a different light and even better, so you can encompass more ideas, encompass more perspectives, and really be, as you said, like for the people, and use your work to be an advocate, and just like make a positive impact. So final words.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 5 of the Whatever Podcast. We will be back at some point, and we have more people that we want to bring onto the show. I think probably our next episode will be one you definitely don't want to miss.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, don't miss any of them, actually. And if you haven't watched the other 4 episodes, you check them out. Those are really cool too. Something to listen to. We'll put at some point put the audio just up on SoundCloud and maybe Spotify as well. So keep you posted on that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Signing off.
Daily.
Thank you to
Whatever
Richie Tovar.
Podcasts having daily podcasts now, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Hosted by Richie Tovar. Yay! Woo! Tune in at 5 p.m.
Live.
All right, y'all.
All right. Thank you guys.
See ya.
Peace.